Hello, hello, hello. This is Jason coming at you live from the swamps of Louisiana with E7 Forge Abyss Guide for number 110. Although we're looking at 111 here, we'll be floating back to 110 shortly. I'll kind of give an overview of the fight. Let's see here. It's like so we have a soul form phase where we're dismantling everything kind of in fight one. So like you want to take that big blue bomber guy out first because he's got a pretty brutal attack later on. If you don't, then you want to take the smaller ones out because their attacks add up very quickly. So you want to get the enemy count down right as fast as you can to stay alive, basically, right? Once you get it down to about like two of the small ones and the purple guy left, you probably want to start farming the souls at that point in preparation for the second fight. You want to go into the second fight with probably about half your souls full and all of your cooldowns up, just to be safe, because fight 2 starts off with a doozy, which we'll be getting to once we clear these fools. So, still just working on that big blue bomber. Let's see what's our crew doing here. We're getting the S2 with, so Fenne is a big part of this victory. I mean, at times that health bar at the top for the boss just disappears whenever she's swinging. The whole kind of concept of this team is really trying to get Fenne to attack as often as possible, right? So you got the S1 off of Salome dual attack. You got the S3 to copy Roz's S2, which is kind of silly, but I think there's a buff that comes along with it. But you want to get his F3, you want to clone him for his S3 also at times, because you get a heal off of that and buffs off of it. So Salome is off, and then she's also hitting Tamarinne at times for her heals. I think there's an odd Fenne clone for her S3. So Salome is very much an MVP in this fight and is a pinch hitter, essentially, right? She is going to be copying the abilities of, whichever team member at the particular moment it makes sense for. And sometimes, obviously you want to actually hold that S3. So you can see we've cleared the floor of a few enemies, and we should mostly be farming souls and cooldowns now, so you're going to see a lot of S1s. So it's fine to not be... It's fine to use some of your cooldowns because it takes a minute to kill this dude. But for the most part, we're just going to be riding our cooldown timers and letting them cycle back around before we go into the next fight, right? So it takes a little bit of time to get Purple Penurple there, whittled down. Buffs up. There's good old Roz doing his thing. So we opted not to burn there. We could have to heal Fenne, but she's got the injury debuff thing going on, so she's actually at probably like 80% health. If you can, it looks like she's a lot less than that, but her max health is only 50% of her health right now. So technically she's at full health, which makes a difference with Tamarinne's heal, just an FYI. So, just look at, you saw that big swing. Like I said, Fenne will just freaking knock the tar out of these people. So I guess I didn't save my cooldowns. I thought I had at one point. I certainly was for this fight, but looks like I'm just pushing through. Yeah, and I want to go in healthy. So there we save the S2. Alright, so here comes Aramintha. So here's the BS, the trickiness, the craziness, the make or break of this fight. Right there, I got very lucky. You see how they're stunned? That means I guessed correctly. Whenever this fight starts, whenever fight 2 of this encounter starts, those 3 Energias back there, the orange pine cones of death, they have an invisible buff called Overload. Now, your task is to hit the one that has Overload, but you can't tell which one has Overload because it's an invisible buff. So you have to guess. And if you're thinking you can use process of elimination and, hit one, if it's wrong, then hit the next one, if it's wrong, then it's got to be the third, that logic does not apply here, because what happens if you get it wrong is it completely resets the rebuff and applies it to a randomly determined one of the 3, which technically could be the same one that you just hit. So when you get it wrong, they blow up and Aramintha applies multiple burns to you. And when you get it wrong multiple times in a row, you quickly end up with like 6 or 7 stacks of burns, and that's just not a good day for anyone. So it doesn't matter how statted out you are, what comp you're running for the most part, like that particular phase of the fight, you can just be RNG'd to death, right? But once you understand the mechanic, you just got to be patient with it and work your way through it, around it. You can play smartly during that part, right? Keeping your cooldowns where they need to be, if you have any cleanse, stuff like that, right? So this next phase, those 2 dudes behind Aramintha right there, you have to crit them like 5 times and see how that one just snapped his fingers and went to sleep. That means he got the 5th crit on him. So you have to do that to both of those, and Aramintha will lose that immunity buff she has up right now. It's undispellable. But you have to keep hitting them until they fall asleep. You can tell they're asleep by the one at the top has like a black face, the one at the bottom has a white face. Once he goes to sleep, then look how close Fenne is there. So we are certainly soul burning right here to get the extra heal. Very nice. And that was the 5th crit on that dude. So now it's time to go to town on Aramintha. But first, we're going to collapse her soul. She is susceptible. She's not immune to collapse, nor is she immune to decreased defense. So notice I had Tamarinne's cooldown waiting there. Use your cooldown smartly. There's another note I want to make about Tamarinne. Do not, or be very careful activating her S3 during the phase of the fight with the Energias, with the orange pine cones of death, because if you S3, go into idle mode, then you're going to S2, get the CR push, then you're left with the only play is an S1, and her S1 is by default, well, her S1 is a AoE when she's in idle mode, and an AoE is going to hit the wrong one guaranteed, so she doesn't want to be swinging there. Oh, she almost got knocked out of the party. As you can see, this is a very close run, and this is very much a manual team. But I mean, the overall goal, right, is it's less of a puzzle and more of a lottery, really. So I will have a guide available for download for this episode. Just show you what that looks like. Actually, I can't show you because I'm recording this after the fact, so just check the description for in this video for a free downloadable link to the guide. No sign-ups for anything required. I'm just trying to help the community out. And we're going to let this fight just keep on keeping on while we listen to some good old Epic 7 Forge tunes. Alright, so see how like they woke back up? You do have to put them back to sleep. Who we gonna S2? Who we gonna S2? Who's it gonna be? Yep. So going with Tamarinne there because I wanted to get the cleanse. Because their S3 has a cleanse. So just some of the utility that Salome brings, you know. I notice, yeah, so I was hitting her whenever I should have been hitting them in the back, but put him to sleep pretty quickly. So another thing about this composition that works well is that since both Roz and Salome provide dual attacks, that's more and more often, you know, rapid fired attacks. So you get those crits on them faster, so you're going to knock them out faster. And you put them to sleep, and they go nighty-night. Now that S3, well that charge right there from Aramintha, if you're not set up right, like it can just wreck you. So, you know, you need to keep your cooldowns up and your health up. Obviously that's common sense, but just FYI. See if I can go ahead and speed this up a little bit, I wonder. Yeah, sorry, had a bit of a snafu there. So getting towards the tail end of the fight here. I was going to try and speed it up, but I'm new to this whole video, YouTube and Twitching thing, so my bad. So going ahead and debuffing the crap out of her so we can just bring this fight home. Oh man, that was a smack and a half. Look at that. Look at that. Hey, here we go. That pretty much brings it home, and that is how you clear Abyss 110. Good deal. Thanks a lot, folks. I hope this guide helps you in some way, you know. Feel free, drop me a like, a sub, a comment, whatever. You can hit me up on Discord, Twitch, YouTube at E7Forge. I'm going to let this play out for a minute and go through the kind of builds. So he's on Energias and Resistance, and make sure you're using your imprint circuits. And so she's a pothead on Wondrous Potion Vial. Oh no, that's Flower Shower. My bad, sorry. Yeah, and she's on Speed and Health. Tamala Anderson. Our idol queen. Shoot, I forgot the name of that artifact. Like, prayer? Shoot, I forgot what it's called. It's the one with the anime lady in a game of anime ladies, but, what was that? ReZero, the white-haired chick, her artifact, that's, the one it was. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut up now. So, thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.